And I know I've done a podcast, which I think you referenced in one of our communication, Leah Perry, I guess, when the lady from DC area, um, she had something called, I think it's Brandy AI or something like this. We talked a lot about geo versus SEO, for instance. So how are you, do you deal with that from a geo perspective, A? And because its technology is going to change and there's a lot of predictions out there, people would say, the traditional search will probably be gone. We don't know the timelines, a lot of predictions around the timeline of that as well. But how are you working with the new, not just from an AI content generation, but from searchability and being able to be rated on those platforms, the new platforms?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's changing daily, not weekly and monthly, right? There's new tools coming out. There's new research being done. It's hard to keep up with. And so you mentioned GEO, which is generative engine optimization, which relates to these large language models like Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and also sort of fringe would be AI mode for a Google search. The other acronym that you may hear is AEO, which is Answer Engine Optimization, which is basically voice commands that you're giving your phone or a device you might have in your home. And all of these are a different way of people trying to find answers to information that they're looking for. We have a number of clients whose web traffic, and I mentioned this earlier, has really fallen off a cliff because, and I'm going to average up, it's actually about 58%, but about 60% of searches don't end in a click. And so what does that mean? That means when somebody searches, especially on Google, because of the way things are displayed now, we call this the zero click phase that we're in, there's no click to the website. They're getting their answer in another way. When you look at people looking at AI overviews, about 25% of the searches end up in AI overviews. 76% of voice searches are locally based. I would say the issue is everybody's talking about the tools. Everybody's talking about how to streamline their processes, workflows, but there's very little conversation about what's it going to take for me to show up in one of these searches that happens off of Google. And so there are particular things. An LLM is not a search engine. It has a knowledge base. It is also looking for, and I'm going to give you an acronym here. Actually, Google developed it in 2016 as EAT. They actually expanded that in the early 2020 realm, maybe 2022, to EEAT, which is experience, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. And so they are looking to see who is the most trustworthy result that I can provide when somebody searches an LLM. 25% of brands don't have any citation that shows up. And there are other brands that have kind of gotten ahead of this, and they have, a lot of different citations across the various LLMs, and each one has their own particular nuance to them. But there are certain things that you can do to increase the chances that you will show up when these AI searches happen. And I'm happy to share some of those tips, maybe useful to the listeners.
Yeah,